Hi peeps. Today in Witchcraft and Tarot, we're going to talk about working with tarot during times of transition. I just kind of wanted to add this video as an addendum, as an addition to the stripping down your practice aspect of tarot that seemed to come up for a lot of you who kind of wanted me to address that. So in today's video, we're going to talk about ways in which you can use tarot in times of transition. So how I'm defining transition is perhaps a time in your life when you are physically moving, perhaps you're having a change or a shift in career, a change in relationship, or a change within yourself from one way of being into another, right? And we all experience these times of transition on our path. The death card is a beautiful representation of the exhale that happens between one state of being and the next, and that beautiful process of changing, of growing, and of shifting. What I have found over the years is that tarot is a wonderful support system for these types of processes, for those times when we are in that in-between space. So in this video, I want to talk about what I found helpful with times of transition, because there's a space where there's the beauty of changing. There's also the fear of changing and the discomfort of moving from one way of being into another. Again, however that applies in your situation. So we can really turn to tarot to get a lot of support and clarity in those areas. What I find most helpful in this type of situation, in this time, is to keep the conversation with my deck very clear. So when I say that, I mean not overdrawing constantly, not doing super huge spreads, or like really focused, like wheel of the year or what's going to happen in the next 6 months aspect, type of spreads, excuse me. I find it's much more helpful to have a dialogue about where I am. So instead of asking what's going to happen, I will actually sit with my tarot deck, usually in front of my altar, especially if I'm in that period of discomfort in the middle of transition, which is very real. And even when transition is positive, happens for all of us, or whatever our idea of positive is. So I'll often sit in front of my altar, sit in front of my sacred space, and just shuffle the cards while I connect in with where I'm at. And the first thing I like to ask my deck is, how do I feel right now? I think I talk about this a lot on the channel, and I will do a specific video dedicated just to this. But I think getting clear about what you actually feel, what you might be picking up on from other people, or just what's a general sense of whatever's happening at a planetary level that day. Checking in with what you actually feel can be an important way to acknowledge where you're at and to clear some space so that you can get the clarity that you're looking for. So the first thing that I'll do is ask my deck, how do I actually feel? And I'll draw one card for that. So I'm using the Darkwood Tarot today, and so here's the Five of Wands to clarify that. So I check in with what feeling rises up for me while I look at the card image first and foremost. So in this case with the Five of Wands, there's a real sense of competition, of wanting to be seen as worthy, of wanting to excel. So you can tell just by, as I kind of break this down, looking at the card, I'm starting to get into the nuances of what may be coming up for me around this particular transition. So once I've checked in with how do I really feel, then I will shuffle again, and I will ask, what is it I need to know about this time of transition for myself today? I like to start by focusing on this moment and the present and not taking it out big picture too quickly for myself. So what is it that I need to focus on this day? Right? And so in this situation, in this example, and of course, whenever I pull in these reads, guys, if you feel like something resonates for you, then please take that as your reading. But here I have the Fool, and there's a real sense of what I need to do in regards to action steps that I can take in regards to my transition today is to approach things with a fresh perspective here, right? So this is saying I can approach this from the perspective of a new adventure, taking a leap of faith, or I could choose to really make it something very stressful for myself, something that weighs me down, that holds me back, right? I could allow myself to approach this time of transition from a space of not looking at it as a new opportunity, but judging it based on previous past prior experiences. So I check in with how I'm feeling. I check in with what I can do today to work in alignment with that time of transition. And then I ask, how can I best support myself through this process? And I'll draw one card. So here we have 10 of Swords. So letting the past be the past, letting go of it, not allowing it to live in the present. That's something that's a very important piece of this puzzle. Now, then I will also ask what I can know or what I should do to best support the people in my life that are also involved in this time of transition. And I'll draw one card for that. And in this situation, we have the Strength card. So if I were to be actually doing this as a reading, I would look at the energy of strength in regards to vulnerability and sharing in a way that would be most helpful for the people that are along on this journey with me. So once I've checked in with those areas, then I will ask for insight into the big picture scenario in this time of transition. Now, very important to know when you do this, you have an attachment to a desired outcome. So when you're pulling for yourself with tarot, you've got to be really honest with yourself about that. So I just want to encourage you to be aware and to check in with what it is that you most desire to have happen as the outcome, and be aware that you're going to have a bias in whatever you pull around that, okay? Acknowledging that, I will pull one card to gain some insight into currently how this period of transition will progress, okay? With the understanding that that energy could change at any given moment after this pull, right? So then I will pull, and I pull one card on this. I don't over pull. In this situation here, we have the World. So there's a sense of positive, positive completion in regards to the desired ending that I'm having, the way that I would like things to go. Words today, guys, sorry. There's a sense of, yes, there's going to be a positive completion here to this cycle, that I'm going to be able to move successfully through this time, right? So that's given me clarity about the big picture down the road without over pulling and without looking to, looking for that safety blanket answer, because times of transition are meant to be murky a bit, honestly. We're moving from one way of being into another, whether that's represented again by a physical move, by a career change, by whatever it is. So we're not always supposed to know the outcome, the ending, or what's supposed to happen while we're in the middle of it. But there's a lesson that we're learning. And so looking at the lesson is something that's really important. So here I might ask an additional question. What is the lesson that I'm learning through this time of transition? And here we have the Hanged Man to shift perspective here. Remember, I could go back to that Fool card where like my perspective is what creates the experience here, right? So you can see this is a 6-card spread. Very easy insofar as not big and drawn out, not with 100 steps to the process, but really very, very personalized and very focused on understanding this moment and how to really show up in this moment, okay? So I want to encourage you, if you are in a time of transition, to look to the tarot to give you this kind of support, to offer clarity and support through pulls, but to also allow yourself to be in the fullness of the experience of not knowing and going along for that ride and allowing yourself to grow. In addition, another question that you could ask while you're pulling through this time is, what is it that you can't see about yourself in this situation? Or what is it that you can't see about the situations, or what is it that you can't see clearly about the situation? Again, words today, guys, sorry. So if you are looking at that, if that's something that's important in this, what you can't see, if you want insight into that, tarot can give you, you know, it can shine a light on that for you. It can give you some perspective there that's going to be very helpful for you. And I do find that looking at what is it that I can't see, what do I have blinders on around, is as important and as asking, how do I actually feel right now? Those pulls just kind of, you know, let all the extraneous overthinking go and like hone in on your point of power in the situation and how you are going to choose to interact with that. So I hope if you are currently in a time of transition yourself, that you find this video helpful. I hope that these 3 videos together have given some clarity on how you can work with tarot through difficult times. Just as an aside here, I would say, when it comes to a time of transition, really work with a deck that you trust, that's very loving. I wouldn't necessarily go full tilt boogie into a shadow deck. I would work with a deck that you have a lot of trust built with and a good, strong relationship with, that you don't have to work really hard to understand the individual card meanings of. And I would strip it back to the basics of just sitting with your deck in your personal space and drawing a few cards with very specific questions to get clarity for yourself. But I hope you are all doing well out there in the world. As always, I am sending you all so much love and many blessings, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.